What's up, guys? We're back. Another video, another issue, Recovery Today magazine today with the guy that I'm so excited to do this with. I've looked up to you for forever, who you were as a motocross rider, but now I think who you are just as an individual attacking life. And we're going to get into so many things, but you are like literally one of the most interesting guys ever with just so much knowledge and so much rad stuff to say, man.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here, honored to be here. I've been talking to you for a while about coming on here, but just been so busy last year, and finally things have slowed down in my life, or life slowed me down to be able to come over here.
Yeah.
The most knowledgeable person, I don't know, but the experiences, yeah. That's what I speak about as experience. You know, knowledge sometimes to me is borrowed. Knowledge is regurgitated because it's what you read, what you heard, what you were told. Yeah. But experiences are your own, and that is true wisdom to me. And so that's all I try to speak from is my experiences of what's gone correct and what's gone incorrect in my life, so to speak. But you can't even really say that because around the corner could be something else. So these are just the situations that have come upon.
I think you're born with that, man, because the way you teach people, and like not a whole lot of people nowadays are open about life and about things that go on. But I think everything you've been through and the way that you come out of it and express that to people, that's what's rad. I guess let's just start off for the people that don't know who you are. Motocross legend. Do you just want to kind of intro just kind of who you are in the motocross world and what you've done?
Yeah, I guess in the motocross world, I've raced motocross, have taught motocross, have been when I was 11 years old is when I raced my first race. And from that time I've been absolutely obsessed, passionate, just blinded. I don't think they even create a word for it. That I've had the drive and the intensity and the focus into the sport. There hasn't been a week, a day that's gone by that I have not tried to better myself or tried to have ways of bettering somebody else in the sport through technique. So this has been a love affair. You know, it's been an absolute love affair. And if anybody's ever come across that in life, man, that's a blessing. You need to be very, 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 give a lot of gratitude that you have that ability to have something that has absolutely obsessed you and become a love affair, because many people don't ever find that. And so that's something that I always teach everybody is just go chase what you love. Because if you chase what you love, you're going to do it all the time. Yeah. And if you do something all the time, you're going to be pretty good at it. And when you become good at something, well, then you can be successful at it. But if you're always doing what you love, then there's not really a result on top of it. If you fail, you fail. If you win, you win, but you still love it. But if you're doing something that you don't love, well, you're probably not going to do it that much. It's hard to be very good at it, and it's hard to be successful at it, and then there's always going to be a result on it. The only reason that you're doing it is for the good times. And then when the bad times come, well, then you're ready to jump ship. And so when you can find something that you love, even like a mate, when you find someone you truly love, that person can almost do no wrong. You know what I mean? Or you're accepting, you're so accepting to their faults. But when you don't truly love somebody, man, you can get irritated in a second. You know what I mean? And willing to push this person aside and not accept who they are. So, that's been a blessing for me. And so for 35 years, it has challenged me, rewarded me,
everything made you the man who you are.
Yeah, it's just made me who I am. And in those 35 years, though, I've been challenged more than I think anybody's ever been challenged in a sport. I've almost come down to the point like it's like an abusive relationship. I love something so much, but it keeps beating me down. But I can't stop loving it. You know what I'm saying?
So we've been talking about this. It happened to me. It's a big deal in motocross, and it's funny the way you talk about motocross. Like maybe not the intensity part. A lot of people, but everybody in motocross has that same love, and there's not a whole lot of sports out there like that, man. Every dirt bike dude, it's just everything. So when you become, you want to become professional at age 16, you put everything into it. You become pro, and there's only like 10 guys that make a living. The guys that don't, and then you're getting out of motocross at age 29 with no real, you didn't go to school, you didn't really train to do anything else. What do you do after that? And we taught, it's kind of like that big pill you got to swallow, like for me, I was used to doing the freestyle thing, partying and all that, but once I was taken away, who am I now? And it happens to so many guys in the sport, suicide, all that. How did you cope through that? Being the rock star, top of the game, you were the champion, you were the guy, and then how did that, when that faded away, how do people cope with that? Because you came up with a lot of good things about that. I just kind of want to talk about that because that's a huge deal. I think not enough people talk about that, I believe.
Yeah, and there's times I think a lot of people lose their ways, not even just when the time comes up. Mm-hmm. It's when injury comes up, when death comes up, when rides get taken away, when situations happen is when people can lose their way, not just always when, okay, I'm done when I retire.
Yeah.
So in my 35 years of doing this sport and being in love with it, and chasing it like I've never chased anything. I've had, this is a list of my family members that have died. I've had 8 family members die in this 35 years of racing motorcycles. My dad died in the middle of my career, not even the middle, in the beginning when I was 21, a week before San Diego, and then I won my first race a week after he died. I've broken over 26 bones. I've had over 3 surgeries. I have 3 rods, 3 plates, 26 screws in my body. I've broken probably 14 ribs, 3 lungs, lacerated liver. I don't have an ACL in my right knee. I've been paralyzed twice. I've had 19 concussions.
Jesus.
And so I've been completely beat up, now I'm just healing right now. It's been a month from compounding my femur at the track, a month ago. So these things come into your life, but, it's like I explained to people, life, God, whatever you want to say, doesn't have a language. It speaks through situations. And the situations are up to you because you're the only species on this earth that has free will, meaning you can pick and choose what you want, right? And that's the only difference from us from a lot of animals, really, much as we have, free will, is that we can choose what we want. So the situation comes into your life, and now do you take it and see it, look at it, understand it, and progress from it? Or do you look at it, deny it, not allow it, and then almost go backwards from it or get stuck from it? So these situations in my life that people you'd want to say that were tragedy of maybe my father dying, being paralyzed, losing championships, all these injuries and stuff like that. I was able to always look at them now at that they were probably some of the best stepping stones to the person I am now. You know what I mean? And I've always been that person that just keeps chipping away at stuff, and everybody's, what's your goal? I don't know if I've ever had any goals in my life.
Not a lot of people are built like you, though.
I don't really have any goals, or what's your dreams? I don't know if I really have any dreams. I just love what I do. I don't do anything that I don't love.
Yeah.
And even if it comes to money, no, take your money, man. I've never gone down the energy drink road. Don't believe in it. I could make money from it. No, I'm not going to do it. And so that there is kind of the way I've lived life. Maybe I'm a little bit different, but I always just try to, look at why the situations are happening. I try to understand and where can I progress from it. You know what I mean? Because this isn't life not loving me or God wanting to blame me or hurt me or whatever. This is just we're here to progress. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. And you can't have any growth unless you have a time to kind of cultivate new energy, cultivate new ideas, cultivate new ways. It's just like wintertime. Wintertime, everything dies. It cultivates a new growth when the spring comes, and right? So it's the same thing as when these situations come. So, through my life, I've been challenged many times that way.
How do you come?
But the biggest thing I think is when I did say, okay, I'm done. I quit in the middle of the season, in the middle of the race, leading a championship on the off-road. I just pulled off the track, and everybody's, what's wrong? I said, I quit. And like, what, is something wrong? The bike? You? Because I was dealing with an elbow. I said, no, I quit racing. And they're like, what
That's
are you
how
talking
you
about?
did it?
That's how I did it. I turned down hundreds of thousands of dollars. I just quit because I came to a point where I wasn't happy. I came to a point that I didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's my soul speaking, going, hey, bud, it's time to move. It's time to leave. It's time to do something else. And, I listened to it, but what came after that wasn't good times. I did fall probably into some depression. I did go down some wrong roads of chasing. Let me fill this hole of being this, this doing a sport that cannot be replicated. You know,
Did you know what you were going to do when you quit motocross? Did you have an idea?
I was already doing it. I was already kind of I was doing the coaching thing. Yeah, I already started that before I quit, before I retired. But coming from the top, being one of the top riders in the world, and now all of a sudden I'm coaching a 50 rider and a vet.
Yeah,
I'm like,
gotta
really?
be hard.
It was a big pill to swallow, or everybody I was coaching I could be faster than, or I was faster still, and so these things, were tough to swallow, and then the who am I, right?
That's the biggest thing.
The who am I? So I had something to fill the void, but it wasn't as exciting as being the guy. So that's when people start going down these wrong roads of chasing drugs, alcohol, women, gambling, to try to fill this hole. They might fill the hole with excitement, but now they've created 3 more holes that are going to be bigger than the one that one.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of people are going wrong, and a lot of people don't have a direction or don't have a lifestyle that they've lived that has allowed them to feel so good, so energetic, so full of life that you don't ever want to, dent that. And that was the biggest thing for me is I've lived my lifestyle so clean, and even more now than ever when I was even racing, that there's this energy, there's just this feeling that you don't want to ever go away from. You know what I mean? When you're pure, when you're clean, and when you're living the life that you want to be, that you're directed to be living, there's such a vibration that I can't put my finger on what it is, but you don't ever want to, suffocate that. You don't ever want to pollute that, with other stuffs in your life, And so, it's so easy to say that. It's so easy for me to say that, but it's so hard for people to do it.
Yeah, what do you tell somebody? Like, let's just go the motocross route. Somebody that's getting out of motocross, they don't know what direction to go.
Yeah.
I didn't know, and I know it happens to all these guys. I got a lot of guys that are in rehab right now because they went down the same path what do you tell somebody after you live such a lifestyle, not at the level you are, but a lot of these guys are still getting paid to ride your dirt bike, traveling the world. That's all you know. It's a tough one, I know.
Yeah, I mean, what can you tell these guys, because words are just sounds, words are just words. It's that you can speak to them, but again, it's all up to the person. Just like you, how many people spoke to you about, hey, you're a druggie, you're this, you're this, you need to help you this, but you didn't listen, you didn't want to listen, you're stupid, you're trying to control me, until the day you said, no, I need to. You accepted it. Accepted it.
Passed out on my truck, ran head on into like a car. Like, it was a bad accept, but it took me that low, and it takes a lot of these guys. But I feel the biggest thing in life is like learning from your mistakes. I'm glad I wouldn't take, obviously I didn't hurt anybody, thank God, but I would do it all over again.
Yeah, and that's the same thing as with when I broke my back in 2013. There was a time when, I'm like, okay, I can still be this person for 10 more years. I still can race and be this rhino and be so fit and make everybody, feel like they're, in awe of me. But life had a different idea.
Yeah.
And when
Is this after your second?
It happened all at the same time. But I was going in this. I remember this. I was going through a section, and fourth gear, wide open, and 450. So that's pretty fast. On through the whoops and a jump right after, and I made the bike swapped out to the side. And normally in motocross, you give it more gas to straighten it out. Or unless it's real big, then you chop it. But anyways, time stopped. It literally stopped. I still know it to this day. And it gave me a decision to chop it, like turn the gas off, or give it gas and straighten the bike out.
Yeah.
Like, it gave me that decision. And again, motocross happens so fast that you can't even think. Motocross isn't a thinking sport. It takes a quarter of a second to make every decision. So motocross is a feeling. Because thinking is ahead of you, thinking is behind you, thinking is always next, right? Feeling is now. I can think of tomorrow, I can think of yesterday, I can think of something else while I'm doing something. But I cannot feel yesterday, and I cannot feel tomorrow, and I can't feel anything else unless what I'm feeling. So that's, the biggest thing in life is learn how to feel again, because that's what we've lost. And so when that happened, it wasn't bad, and it was me. I said, gas it. And right when I said gas it felt like something pulled me off my bike. And when it pulled me off my bike, I went head first into the jump, and I was paralyzed from neck down, this and that. Then later in the hospital, paralyzed again. Then they put 2 rods, 11 screws in me. But the biggest thing is that, 3-4 years later, I talked to my old team manager, Larry Brooks. And he was like, man, I always wanted to talk to you about the crash that you had. Yeah. He goes, I was there that day. And I went, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, it was the most ugly crash I've ever seen in my life. He goes, I felt it, the ground shaking my feet when you hit the jump. And he goes, I just walked away. He goes, I couldn't even go over to you. I had to walk away. I'm like, wow. And he goes, but the weird thing is, he goes, man, I swear it looked like something just pulled you off your bike. And it stopped me. I was like, whoa, because I felt it, but then I was like, well, is that true or not? You know, but that put validation with it, like, wow, someone from the outside saw this and I felt it, same thing. And it made a massive change in me, and it made me come more to the feminine side of life, more of the acceptance, more of the softer side, the more of the connection, you know what I mean? Instead of being the hard ass of, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to challenge you, I'm going to fucking destroy you to beat you, you know what I mean? That, to me nowadays, it's so easy to be a man in the anger, I'm going to be better than you, I'm going to challenge you, you know, just this man side, because that's how we're brought up, that's how we're 100%. Taught. It's easy to do that, but it's very hard to be, you know, loving. It's very hard to be compassionate. It's very hard to be understanding. It's very hard to be giving as a man, because we're not brought up that way. So to me, when I see a man that way, that's a true man, not a man that's just going off of what his grandfather taught his dad and his dad taught him, right? Or what society taught us to be man, that we need to be macho, and if you say something, I'm going to beat your ass, and nothing bothers me, and anything happens, I'm going to be angry, right?
I take bubble baths every night. I'm tatted up, man, so I guess... Get a little bit more manly. I love it, man.
Make you feel good. Hey, everybody has asked me, how do you heal so fast? I said, snuggles, man.
See, everybody makes fun of me about that, but there's no guy. If you take a fucking bath, dude, like, come on, dude, it's the best. So they're lying.
Bubble baths with sea salt or whatever. But hey, I'll go another snuggles, man. If you can find a girl that can snuggle, that will heal you quick, baby. So I am a snuggling fool, man.
That's classic, man.
A snuggling fool,
dude. Yeah. It's just accepting.
But again, hey, if you want to challenge me, you're going to be in for an all-day event, my friends. So, you know, you can challenge me all you want about snuggles and bubble baths.
Yeah. Right? Just accepting, man. What about the pain pills, man? Like, you just got off breaking your femur, and I heard you didn't take any pain pills through that. I know, like, maybe right after, but, like, for the most part, they're going to give you a bottle of pain pills. You put those to the side. And with all your injuries, this is recovery. Say, how aren't you addicted to pain pills? Did you not like the feeling, and, like, you just had the willpower to stop when they were done? Or how do you do that?
Again, have I taken them? Yeah, I've taken them, because I've been getting hurt since I was 15 years old.
Broken every month.
And so, yeah, I had to take them. I've taken Vicodin to, all the way to Dilaudid.
Yeah.
I mean, poof, with my back. And so there's some things that I have taken because I could not. But I guess the biggest thing is that I just wasn't aware of the problem now, because America is 5% of the world population, 5 of it. But it takes 80% of all pharmaceutical drugs. And so the question is why is America in so much pain?
Wait, I heard you say that in that last interview, and I need you to break that down. So 5% of what? All America?
Yeah, America is 5% of the world population.
Okay.
Of people. Mm-hmm. But it takes 80% of all the pharmaceutical drugs taken in the world. Those 5% do.
Damn.
Yeah, America's that drugged up because of why, and that was a question, I think it was in CNN, I don't know what it was. But why is America in so much pain? And I feel it's because everybody's trying to be something they're not. Everybody's trying to be what America's trying to make them to be is so successful, have to have letters behind their names, have to have this big bank account, have to have this car, have to have this house, have to be this person, have to be this fake person on social media to be things because of my numbers and my likes. And again, just like we talked, when you're becoming fake, you create anxiety, you create fear, you create unhappiness, you create depression. So then there you go. So when you take these these opiates or these other drugs, what you're trying to do is just separate yourself from the situation you're in because you're not happy with it. And that's why opiates are that way. It separates you away from the pain that you're having.
100%.
Does it really numb it? I don't know, but it separates you. And so the same thing you can start doing in life is separating yourself from the situations you don't want. Why do you think every single fucking place in this world has alcohol? Dude, I went around the world and every single person that I've ever come across drinks alcohol. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody drinks alcohol. And what does it do? It separates you from your normal life and maybe the life that you're leading that isn't really fulfilling you. So for me, pain pills have never really been a problem because I guess I had such a drive to get back, a drive to be back to being, you know, that guy, a drive to go challenge myself, to reward myself, to inspire myself, and the love that I had for it. There was no way that anything could come in front of that motorcycle. When I was younger, when myself and my wife started going out, when we were 21 years old, I remember, you know, sitting, and she'll talk my ex-wife, talk about it too, is that when you're in the garage, we're standing there, we're looking at my motorcycle, and I said, hey, you see that motorcycle over there? And she says, yeah. I said, that's my first love. I go, nothing comes before that first love, or before that. So if you can accept that, we can go out. If you can't, then we got to break it off right here, because nothing will come before that, and nothing ever did. And so unfortunately, it was, you know, we can laugh about it, but it also has hurt me in my life by being so obsessed with something that I pushed my kids away a little bit. I pushed my ex-wife away a little bit, just by being distant.
Yeah.
Always focused on that. Always having to prepare for that. Always having to go to bed for that. Always having to eat the right things for that. Always having to go train. Always having to live up to some expectation or some idea that I thought other people had of me in my head. And so it has hurt me also in other parts of my life. You know, we have a great relationship, but I always tell them I'm sorry, because that's one thing I regret, is that I was so obsessed with something that I didn't spend the time with. I didn't give the attention to people that are going to be there much longer than motocross will be.
It's kind of hard because you're making good money, being a father, supporting them too. So it's
I mean, it definitely was.
Street.
You know, you're making money. You're somebody. There's such a thrill. You know, if nobody's ever ridden motocross, then you're not going to understand the thrill of it, the excitement of it, the magnitude of why we just keep coming back. You know, it's a drug. I'm sorry.
And there's a negative side to that.
Yeah, and there's a negative side of that of injury.
Yeah.
And things that way. So, you know, so that's that. I guess that was the biggest way I didn't get addicted, you know, or get on that stuff, is because I always had a drive to get back to being, you know, living up to the expectations and the levels I wanted to be at.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once I retired, I've been through, you know, I broke my back and being paralyzed there. They put me on Dilaudid, and holy shit, dude. What is that stuff? Huh?
That's what everybody's snorting right now. Everyone's snorting. They're
How
called
in
Roxy
the hell
30.
can you do Dilaudid? Dude, I tripped out.
Really?
Oh my God. There's a balloon in someone brought me a happy face balloon that was in the corner, and I would always be like, I'd wake up, ah! So, you know, and then they had a thing on my finger that measured my heart rate.
Yeah.
I kept stopped breathing.
What?
Like, I'd stop breathing. My ex-wife had to sit in my room, and the dinger would go off. She goes, hey, baby, you got to breathe again. I'm like, what?
Jesus,
She's like, you're not breathing. Yeah, they had that and monitored.
Was that
your
on
breath.
the drip? The
Dilaudid was, but they had this thing on my finger to measure my heart rate and my breathing, or, you know, something else, and I'd stop breathing. And they'd always have to remind me to breathe because it was so strong.
Jesus, man.
And so we started reading about it, and we just read these horror stories, how it just devastated people's lives, devastated them. And so that night I said, you don't give me this shit.
Like Dilaudid?
Yeah, Dilaudid or whatever it's called. I said, you don't give this stuff to me ever again. And so I said, this is what we're going to do. And the funny thing is, it's Rehab magazine, but whatever. One of my buddies came there, and we went outside, out on the little porch, whatever, to talk. And he goes, hey, man, I brought you a little pen. It said marijuana. I took a hit of that. I went back in, ate all my food, felt good. And the nurse came in, and she goes, oh, you must be feeling better. I go, no, I'm not feeling better. I got off your drugs. Now I can eat. Now I have some clarity to me. So I'm going to tell you what you're going to give me. And I told her exactly what to give me, pain medicine. And I said, okay, I'm going to take pain medicine for 1 month.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then I'm fucking done. And so when I was at home, I took it for 1 month because I had to, because the worst part after breaking your back is you got to come home. You can't lay on your stomach.
Yeah.
You can't lay on your sides. You only can lay on your back. The thing you had surgery on, you know? So, that was...
I can't imagine.
That was so tough. Every 5 minutes I was moving around, and I would come, my ex-wife would come out, I'd be on the couch with my arms just trying to find a comfortable spot. I mean, it was gnarly.
Were you off the pills and just smoking weed?
For the first month, so the time I broke my back till then, I said 1 month. I gave myself 1 month. So even in the hospital, I said, I'm going to be in here for 1 week. And they're like, ha, ha, ha. I said, no, I'll be here for 1 week. I was out in 1 week. And then I said, okay, I'm going to give myself 1 month. And when that month comes up, I'm off these pills. And I never took Advil. I never took anything after that. Did I use some THC? Yes, I did.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
You gotta do something. So I'd rather use something that's a little bit is more natural. that doesn't have such a detriment to your life, I guess, than that
All the
stuff. So
prescription.
again, I'm not sitting here saying I'm Captain America of being the purist, but I never went down that road. So it was 1 month, and then I just the ability to set your mind at something and just chase it, chip away at it. Right after I got out of the hospital, I asked them, hey, what can I do to heal fast? And they said, walk. I said, okay. So the first month I walked 100 miles, after after being paralyzed, breaking my back, and I just a little bit more every day. Not much, just even sometimes 20 more feet, but it just starts adding up. And that's the thing is like, hey, if you take 5 a day, we'll take 4.5.
Yeah.
And then take 3 and 8, then take 3.5, and then take 3, and you got to wean yourself off, or you got to wean yourself up. You can't just go, I'm going to be Superman right away, right? So then I started, learning once I got older. I went a good 7 years, which is probably the longest I've ever not been injured. It's
That's
like 7
crazy.
years, and so then now all the opiate abuse, all the opiate research, all the statistics are coming out, and then I started going, wow, man.
It's crazy.
I would never, and now it's like you're almost afraid to take them because it's so easy to get hooked, especially when you don't have that I am trying to be the best at something, and maybe other parts of your life isn't really going the way you want, like a divorce and, selling your house and your kids moving away with your wife and stuff like what I dealt with last year. So this, with my leg, when I broke it, it was the same feeling that I got when I broke my back, as something just pulled me off my bike. Because it was Kauai.
Yeah.
Morning. There's not a bump on the track. You know what I mean? And it was just a little drop-off jump. I wasn't doing anything. Nothing a little 60 rider couldn't do. But my hand just came off the bike.
So you're saying it happened for a reason?
My hand came off the bike, and it was almost the same thing with my back. It's like my hand came off my bike. Like something pulled me. And it was the same thing. I landed on the ground. Same thing with my back. When I got to the hospital, they checked me out. There wasn't a bump, a scratch, a bruise, nowhere on my body. Not even a part of like, I landed on that.
Yeah.
Nothing, except I had a compounded femur. Or when I broke my back, I broke T2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 4 ribs.
Jeez.
Because I tucked,
Yeah.
But other than that, I had not a bump, scratch, or bruise anywhere on my body. So it's like life was like, okay, we're gonna teach you, but we love you. We're just going to lay you down nicely. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of where...
Dude, that's crazy.
That's kind of what I get out of it. And that's why I can accept it so much, is because, I don't point the fingers or go, poor me, or why did it happen, or I have no luck, or life doesn't like me.
Just get up. It was a life lesson. Move on.
It happened. Again, just like you're talking about your buddy that's paralyzed from neck down, Well, I have a buddy, too, that I hang out with, Mario. And I'd love for you to have him on this.
100%.
He's amazing. And
paralyzed from the neck down.
Paralyzed from neck down. 17 years old when he did it. He's 20. He's almost 30 now. Races cars. He can't open his hands. He races cars. Designed his own controls.
Yeah.
Races rally and all that. And but I hang out with him, and it just sometimes it brought me to tears. Like yesterday when we did the Man Tribe, I was talking about him. I started crying just because I sit here and say, poor me, or my life isn't this, or that, I'm not getting what I want, being kind of a little bit of a, wuss about it. Then I look at him coming out of the house the other day, and there's carpet right out of the house, and his chair hit it. And I was a little bit 10 feet away, and all of a sudden I look back, he hit it. Dude, he fell out of his chair right in his head. And he just goes, at least it's only happened once today. And he can barely get himself back in the chair. But he does. He lives by himself. Doesn't ask for any help.
It's amazing.
It's just unbelievable. You know what I mean? And it just, really, you're at a point of so poor me that you can get hooked on drugs or hooked on something when somebody has a limitation 10 times, 100 times.
I got it.
Worse than you, and you're over here saying poor me because you're not feeling well, or your job went away, or your girlfriend, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? These small little situations that happen all the time in life, you're getting carried away by this, but there's people that live a life every single day that would be your hell. And just like when we did the Man Tribe, they asked us, what's your hell? And he spoke up, he goes, they ask, what would be your hell? Like, what would it be? And he goes, what if you're living it every day? And I'm just like, oh.
Heavy.
Yeah, what if you're living it every day? I'm like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It almost makes me tear up right now just thinking that someone could feel that every day. And
that's the story.
And it's gnarly. So when I did break my leg, there was no pain. It was the strangest thing. There was no pain. They came and say, how you feeling? Good. You need pain medicine? No.
Really?
No, didn't take anything. All the way till surgery. Then at surgery, I don't know what the hell they gave me.
Yeah.
This and that. But the whole idea of why I don't want to go down that road now is because I have so many friends or people that I know are hooked on them. And again, if people want to change this world and make this place a better place and not be the Donald Trump or whatever they say they don't want to be, well, then you have to do it. You have to be that mirror. You have to reflect what you want to see. You have to reflect that. And you can't change the world. You only can change yourself. And so that way is for me going, hey, look, I'm not going to take these pain pills or go down this road for those people that are hooked on it, and not to try to be the Superman or inspire them, but just, look, I'm just not going to go down that road. We have a lot of friends that are paralyzed. So I like to walk in the morning. It just makes me feel good, wakes me up. I love to listen to the birds and smell and just be in my own head. But I always give gratitude that I can walk, because at a point I couldn't. It wasn't a long time, but it was a good 10, 12 hours that I couldn't walk. And so I remember it. But each step I try to just give a little gratitude that, hey, thank you for allowing me to feel this ground, because I have many friends that can't right now. And so I'm walking for them. So the same thing is, I'm not taking these drugs for the people that are hooked on these drugs that maybe didn't have the strength that I had. And, maybe that's just in my own little world or my own little head, but that's just what kind of motivates me and inspires me not to. You know what I mean? And so, after surgery, it didn't really, maybe the first day they gave me some Percocet because my leg was as big as 4 of them. And this and that, but then after that was okay, we're done with that, and then I've taken some THC, some edibles and stuff like that, because it relaxes me inside. I do feel that helps you heal a little bit by being relaxed, instead of that tension, because if you're always tense because of pain, well, then you're not going to heal as much. But if you're relaxed from an opiate, it's almost like you're polluting your body, that it's almost causing you maybe a little bit longer to heal, because I do heal very quickly. But also eating very clean. I've never got off my way of eating. I didn't just go, oh, well, now I'm hurt, I'm just going to eat Big Macs and go to Dunkin' Donuts and all that bullshit. No. I eat, a very pure lifestyle of food-wise, no caffeine, no sugar, no gluten, no dairy, only organic foods. I haven't eaten fast food in probably 15 years. I haven't had a soda.
Really?
I haven't had soda in probably 15, 20 years. I haven't had a energy drink in probably the same amount of time. I don't eat candy. It just doesn't interest me. And the last year, when I went on the road, for some reason, I just started kind of drinking some beers, just because I wanted to drink some beer. So everywhere I went, it was kind of fun for me to go to different cities and countries and just taste different beer. I'm like, I found a really good beer in Brisbane, Australia. I found amazing beer in Africa. So it's kind of cool. But I was noticing, man, I hurt. My knees hurt. I'm puffy. I'm kind of tired. I'm foggy. And just that the sugar and all that alcohol and the impurities in what beer is made out of and stuff brings out so much, inflammation in the body. And inflammation creates pain, especially when you have so much, so many broken parts in you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got to be very careful of what I eat, because I can inflame a lot of stuff and then start having, some issues, which in my body, I really don't have anything that hurts on me. I don't. Like, I wake up in the morning, just boop, and go, unless I work out way too hard or do something that I done. So I'm very limited on what I can do workout wise, because after I broke my back, my right tricep turned off, half of it did, right pec did, and my right, my lat did.
Jesus.
And then, so I got to be very limited. So if I do heavy weights, then I start to create an imbalance in my body. It gets very twisted and torqued. Now I'm fused from 2 to 7, even riding a bicycle, keeping my head up like this a lot, just, shoots a lot of pain down my body. So that's why I've really I adopted yoga before I got injured. And I feel that was a way that it helped me not maybe, be more hurt than I was. you know, because yoga helps your spine becomes a lot stronger, more flexible. And the doctors, you know, said they don't know how you're walking. We have no idea why you're walking. You shouldn't be walking really, you know, because T4 just blew up.
Yeah.
But it didn't go anywhere in my spinal column. And they said the only reason that we say that is probably because you're so flexible and so strong. And I went, interesting. And so I have started that, and I've been following the yogic way for the last seven years or whatever. And that has really helped my body, you know, become a lot more balanced.
Yeah.
You know, it's taken out a lot of the pain from things starting to tighten up and then cause imbalances in it. And so that's why I chase that, because that's really the only activity that doesn't hurt my body. And so I have to be very limited kind of on what the output I put out there, you know. So now I'm more focused on working in instead of working out.
Seems like yoga saved you, man.
I've worked out so much. I've worked out more than probably a civilization of people, you know. But working in is where I find the biggest answers, and I find the biggest growth in myself now is working in. And so many athletes are always working out, but they're never working in.
What's the difference?
Let's say working out. Working out is you're going to the gym, you're trying to be stronger, bigger, faster, this and that. But working in is learning to how to stretch, how to meditate. You know what I mean? How to rest, how to do yoga, take bubble baths, snuggle. You know, things that...
I'm trying to learn from you, but how do you do it like at a beginner level? I'm going to talk as most newly recovering addicts. Like you come out and you do want to better yourself. You realize you don't need to be on drugs, alcohol, so maybe you'll start going to the gym. I'm just going to say like I do. I'm going to the gym. How do I make that next step to like better myself? I always see your stories, how like no sugar, but yoga, all this stuff. It's intense. Beginner level. How would somebody like me and every other recovering addict, candy's number one, like sugar. I'm addicted to sugar. What's the next step? Like maybe eating a little better, maybe knocking off a little bit of sugar at a time, because nobody can go to your level right off the bat.
No,
so like,
and that'd be the worst thing to do, is go to this level that you get inspired to go to. And that's what's wrong with a lot of life coaches and a lot of stuff these days, is they're talking so far out in the future for people that people either get too, they get a little bit confused because it's almost too much information, and when people become confused, they shut off. Yeah. So either they get shut off, or they get so motivated that they climb on board, but then a month down the road, it's just so overwhelming that they get off it and they actually go backwards, because now they've given up on themselves, and now they feel less than. Now they feel like they're unworthy, and then all these little things start to come in to fill that void, right? Mm-hmm. So what I tell people is like, look, let's at least crawl. Okay. So what the biggest thing is learning how to create a you know, not a habit, but kind of a habit. You know, you gotta become what you're trying to be. Yeah. And how you become, you have to create, you know, something that you have to create consistency. And the way to create consistency is by doing something all the time. But everybody wants to go to the gym and just go fucking balls out the first day, and then they can't train for 4 more days, and then those 3 days, well, they've lost motivation. So I always tell everybody, look, okay, let's find out where your eating is wrong. I eat gluten, I eat dairy, da. What's the biggest one? Okay, this one here is sugar. Okay, let's start over here. Which one's the easiest? This one. Okay, so let's take that out. We take that out, and then we replace that. Now you just proved to yourself that you could.
What would the easiest one be? I'm learning from I forget we're doing an interview.
But everybody's different.
But let's just, a normal, average person, let's say me, I go to work, come home, run a couple miles, do whatever.
But what I'm saying is everybody's different. Like, let's say, for some people, sugar is not really that big of a deal. But they love bread. Oh, my God, they love bread. Or they love cheese, or you know what I'm saying, or they gotta have that Del Taco burrito, or whatever it is, or they have to have that Monster, or they have to have something. Yeah. So everybody's different. So that's why I say make it, you know, like from a 1 to 5 or whatever. 5 is like, dude, if you really, but 1's like, I could take that out. So you take that out, and then you add more health there, right? A healthier, you know. Whatever it is.
I'm gonna go with me. I'm gonna say a Whopper from Burger King. Let's say every day. I'm taking that out. What do I replace? Dude, that's gonna be hard. Like fast food. I'm always working. Maybe a little fast food. I try and go healthy, but it's not.
Well, I guess if that is you're always on the go, then maybe make a little food before you take off from the house. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Maybe make that. Okay. I'm not gonna go to the Whopper. I'm gonna go to Okay, still not the best, but I'm going to go to a Chipotle, whatever
I
it's
can do
called.
that.
You know, maybe that, and you get some rice and beans and some chicken, something a little bit healthier there. So, and then once you proved yourself that you can take that out, well, then it's easier for the next time, and and the next thing, and the next thing, and then once you get to where the part that that's really struggling, like let's say sugar, well, now you've proved to yourself that you can do this. You become proud. You know, you've overcome some things, and then you're starting to feel so good that you're like, dude, you know what? I want to feel this way. I want to feel even better. So it's much easier to start stripping that away. You know what I mean? You got to
take off the sugar. I feel like a lot of people are learning from this right now is like the sugar thing. How do you wean off that? Because you were saying it's more addicting than heroin and coke, man.
Because again, if you look at what it does to the brain, it does the same thing as cocaine.
Yeah,
it's the same thing as cocaine. It causes inflammation, so it creates pain. You know, it creates attention disorder in kids and all these different things. And so, you know, how do you get off of sugar is by, I guess, finding out how much you're eating a day. And then go, okay, I'm eating 4 donuts and freaking 3 candy bars and a gallon of ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have half a gallon of ice cream, but I'm still have the 4 donuts and the 3 candy bars. The next day or the next week or whatever your plan is, I'm gonna have only 2 candy bars. And you know what I mean?
So weaning
slowly
off is
weaning
the best
off
way.
because some people can go cold turkey, but a lot of people can't.
Yeah.
And so if you can maybe slowly get off that, then that happens. Or just be aware of what it's doing to the body.
Yeah.
You know, because it's what's happened is become conditioned. Because once you're a baby, you know, normally people give you treats when you're good. When I'm good, I get this. Or when you're crying, they stick a bottle in your mouth, and all baby formula has high fructose corn syrup in it or some kind of sugar in there. So then the taste buds get conditioned to when I feel bad, I need this to soothe me. You know, when you get a piece of sugar or whatever, it kind of soothes you. You know what I'm saying? And so that, you know, is certain ways, but I'm sure there's much, better ways than that. It's just been kind of easy for me. But the working out thing is just, you know, go into the gym and you got to start a routine. That's the biggest thing is creating a routine in life. And once you create a routine, then that routine creates discipline. Discipline, because you got to be disciplined to do something the same every day. And once you create discipline, then you can create concentration. You know, because you have to concentrate on what's making you disciplined. On that discipline is making that routine happen. Yeah. Right? And so that's where everybody, I think, is missing in life is they have no routine. They don't wake up at the same times. They don't have a routine to get themselves into the day. So they feel scattered, lost, I don't knows. And then they get frustrated and flustered, and then it's easy to grab this or take that or drink that or pop that, right? But once you become you have a routine in your life, and it's the same kind of every day, well, then you can pinpoint what you did different that made you feel a certain way, right? Yeah. And that's what I'm missing right now in my life is because I don't really have a place to say what's home. Not that I'm homeless, just I choose right now to kind of be just to kind of float a little bit. Yeah. And
how are you dealing with that?
It's going good. It's going good. I just, and then my leg kind of set me back too because it was just even hard to get out of bed. Yeah. And, I did everything pretty much on my own because I didn't want to put the responsibility on anybody else. This was my deal. This is my doing. So I have to deal with this myself. And that was another thing of why I didn't want to take pain meds. I said, look, man, this is fucking happening for a reason. So I need to be completely aware. I need to be completely conscious of this process of what's happening so then that I'm not foggy. And then I don't truly remember it, like, oh, just knock me out. Now you're not really you're not understanding it. You're not feeling it. You're not going through it. So I wanted to go through it. I wanted to feel the pain. I wanted to feel the discomfort. So then when that time came up again, that maybe get on a motorcycle, maybe whatever, another situation, I wasn't trying to prove myself or anything, but maybe if that does come up, I can remember this. Because again, me being paralyzed in the hospital, I remember, but I don't remember because I was so drugged up. Mm-hmm. They had me on, so much. Yeah. And so I wanted to be aware of it. So then I learned from it. And so if a situation comes back up again, I can kind of have that in my consciousness to being like, I don't want to experience that anymore, dude. I can't break anything anymore. dude, I'm done.
I don't care what you say. They don't make people like
yeah,
you, dude.
but
How
dude,
strong you are. Like,
I can't do that, and I can't do that to my mom either, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people in my life, even my kids and stuff like that, you know, it's not cool to see your baby hurt, my mom, or you see your dad, you know, tubes coming out of him everywhere, broken this, broken that. But, yeah, it doesn't really bother him anymore.
I bet.
So that's kind of just the ways that, you know, I would teach somebody is that, you know, don't go to the gym and try to kill yourself. Don't try to be the Superman health. You know, again, what would you tell somebody else? Would you say, oh, you got to do this and do this and do this? You're a better coach than you are a follower, right? So be a coach to yourself. Have compassion for yourself. Understand that, okay, man, this is tough. I do have a little bit of addiction to this. Wow, okay. Accept that. So then if you do fall off a little bit, or you do have that, you're not so hard on yourself, you know, but at least you're aware of it. And that's the biggest thing, is being aware of your situation, your addiction, or your problem. Because once you're aware of it, then I feel that when times come up, you can recognize it so much more, instead of being blinded to it and be like, oh shit, man, I just took 5 Vicodins, and because you're just unconscious of it. Or, oh damn, dude, I was on the text and I just ate 3 donuts. Right? You weren't aware of what's in your hands or what's going in your mouth, and so that's the biggest thing, is just admitting, accepting, you know, that there is a problem, that there is a situation that you have, you know, that you're hooked. You got something that has their kind of claws in you.
In recovery, that's the biggest thing. Is
accepting that. Look, man, okay. This is what's going on. Once you can accept, you can allow. Okay, hey, now I give myself a break. I'm only a human being. Yeah. You know, I am weak. I'm by myself. I don't have maybe someone to talk to, right? And so, you know, allowing yourself to be able to admit that. And then once you allow that and you become at ease a little bit more, well, then I feel that there can be some growth. Yeah. But if you don't accept it, you're never going to allow it. And if you don't allow it, then you're going to be stuck at where you're at. And if you're stuck, nothing grows, nothing moves. And that's why people do the same thing for who knows how many years, because they will not allow themselves to grow. It's like my brother. He will not allow himself to move on. He will not allow himself to accept the shit that he created that put him into a situation that, well, he's the same person. He hasn't changed, but he keeps getting stuck deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until almost like there's no way out.
It's not alcohol or drugs, or just life.
Just life. Just you know, he just won't grow up. He won't accept. He won't accept the situation that life put him in. That was beautiful from the situation he came from, and he just keeps digging this hole deeper and deeper. And so, you know, that's what I see, because you know, I've had a brother, but I've barely even seen him since I was 15 years old. You know, been in jail, being here, had to move away, you're saying? So it's like it's like a little bit of a death for me too, of not having an older brother, which I had my whole life.
Going back to acceptance, because I was gonna cut in when you were talking about your buddy that was paralyzed. Russ, my buddy that's paralyzed from the neck down, when you're sharing your stories, the same thing. I feel like, how can I ever bitch about anything when everything they do? And we were talking about, I have another friend that has the same injury, but he has not accepted that he's quadriplegic. He's been in his bed for, I think, 15 years. Wow. Almost like rotting away when he has the same injury. And my buddy Russ is going to concerts with us. He's calling me every day, let's do this. And he's paralyzed. You know, it's just like, by not accepting how your life can drastically go, like 2 different ways.
Yeah, one accepted and is
living a life.
One didn't accept and is staying stuck.
Yeah.
And he's in his grave he's just laying in bed.
He is.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, but again, you know, you look at a lotus. A lotus is born out of the mud, right? And so, and that's one of the most beautiful smelling flowers in the world. But but it comes from the mud, right? Yeah. And so that's the same thing. And you know, we're all on this earth for a reason, or we wouldn't be here. You know, like I've been doing this man tribe stuff, and they want me to talk a bit, and I just talk about my story. But I say, look, man, we started this race, we started this life, but I haven't seen the finish line yet. Where's the checkered flag? So why do you guys stop? Why are you guys getting fat? Why are you getting lazy? Why aren't you staying, you know, motivated? Why aren't you working on yourself? Why aren't you trying to help others? You know, why did you stop? I didn't see any checkered flag, you know, and it's true. And that was my whole deal of my racing, is I never knew. It's my weakness and my gift is I don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
So anytime you put me in a competition or a situation, and this is where we start and this is where we finish, I will not fucking stop until I get there. Don't matter what the pain or what I have to get to, is because I already made the intention that I need to finish. I signed up for this thing. I'm going to finish this thing. So the same thing with this life is that I'm not going to wherever the next destination is and be welcome into it with a little golf clap.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no, dude. People are rock starring me. Going, that's how you fucking live life right there. That's how you do it. You know what I mean? Because
I'm trying to follow in your footsteps,
just being
dude,
engaged, because life is like, I always say this to people. I say there's a yin and a yang to everything, right? There's an opposite to every word. There's opposite to every word. White, black, cold, hot, da-da-da. But what's the opposite word to life? You say death. No,
Yeah,
but that's birth. Birth is beginning, death is end. Death is end, birth is beginning.
Yeah.
What's the opposite of life? There really isn't an opposite to it, because to me, the way I look at that word is it's so extraordinary. It's so amazing. You know what I mean? I mean, we're all sitting here being able to think, choose, taste, move, get by,
100%.
and we're taking it for granted.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh, this is like a, it's not like it's a gift. You know what I'm saying? So I've always looked at life that way, that I'm going to live this fucker until the end. And Nick Yaris, he has a quote that he puts out. Nick Yaris, if you ever want to get motivated by this guy, on Joe Rogan podcast, he was stuck in death row for like 20 years or some shit for a crime he didn't commit. And the stories he talks about is just like, oh my God, like it brings him to tears, But he says, I'm stronger than life, but kinder than love. And I'm like, man, that stronger than life thing is what I accept, that I am stronger than life. I don't feel life can do anything to me that will stop me from trying to better myself, trying to understand myself, trying to master myself more than when it just kills me.
Do you think you could be where you're at and where a lot of these people? I feel like I'm kind of at your level because I lost everything, and I get what you mean about life and all this stuff. But I feel like the normal person out there, they don't see that. I feel like you have to lose something, or you have to go through something tragic and bounce back from that to realize all that shit. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think you'd be where you're at right now if you like did everything right?
Well, they say the best coaches are the people who didn't have everything, where it didn't come easy to.
Yeah.
Like I've coached with a lot of guys that were super talented, they're super champions, and they don't know how to coach. They don't know how they did it because it came easy. And then a lot of people might be watching this, oh yeah, but you were a Supercross guy, you made money, you made this, you made that. Look, man, I've had 8 people in my family die. I've had all those injuries that I've talked about. I've had all the money that I ever made, lost it all.
Yeah.
I've lost my house, like I say, been paralyzed. I've retired from a sport that that I loved. Divorced. I divorced my ex-wife last year. Amazing woman. After 24 years.
Yeah.
My kids that I've lived with my whole life, had moved out with them. After I got off the road last year of traveling 120,000 miles, that I did of coaching, teaching, and kind of running away a little bit, I came back to nothing. I sold my house while I was gone. I came back and I was sitting in my mom's bedroom, or my bedroom of my mom's house, with 4 people having all my shit because people had to move my house when I was gone, and no direction, it was like one of the scariest times of my life, because I'm like, a year ago, I was sitting in my house with 2 kids, a beautiful wife, a direction, comfortable, this and that. Now it's all completely gone. And that was a big, big wake up call, when that happened. And, I started kind of coming out of that void of that. And like, okay, I'm going to start getting on the road. I'm going to start teaching again. And then I broke my femur. So then I got held back a little bit more. But to me, that's life going, hold on, you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. You need to rest more. You need to stay still a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's what I've taken this thing, is just like, this has been kind of the easiest injury to accept, because I've read the language of, no, I do need to rest more. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to get back on the road. I'm not ready to go chase something. I've chased something for 35 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need to just learn to allow and see what life is wanting me to, to maybe listen to. But you can't listen to life if you're always constantly being too busy or filling the voids with something.
Yeah.
Got to read, got to listen to this, got to that and this, and call this person and eat. How about just chill a little bit and not talk, you know? One of my favorite sayings is, when you speak, it does not listen. When you're quiet, it speaks.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You know, so everybody's
A
always
lot of
constantly.
people aren't like that. I
so
mean,
many people just constantly
cell phones,
cell phones, or even praying. You know, just yeah. Well, how about, and just see how's your mind think? What's your mind saying? What's your heart really saying? How do you truly feel about stuff? But you're never going to understand that, feel that, listen to it, hear it when you're constantly, you know, being over busy, right? Because this whole world, this whole lifestyle in America is, if you're not working, you're being lazy.
Yeah.
If you're not grinding, you're lazy. If you're not achieving, you're lazy. Dude, you know what I mean? That's not life.
Yeah.
That's not life, because once you get what you think you want, now what? Once you get that house, now what? When you get that $1 million, now what?
So it's on the next and you're over it in a month.
Well, once you take that hit, now what? Once you get that girl, now what? You want another one. You want another hit. You want another house. You want a bigger house. You want more and more. So once you reach that level of, now I'm somebody, now what? You're never going to be somebody. And that's what everybody's trying to chase, is everybody's trying to chase being somebody. But you're never going to be anything, because nobody's anything.
It's heavy.
Nobody's anything. The only thing that they are is labels. Donald Trump is just a president. Take that president away and he's just a person.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny Depp is an actor. Take that actor away, he's just a person. Ryan Hughes was a motocrosser. People come up to me, oh, you're my hero, you're this. I'm like, dude, let's squash that, okay? We're the same. I did one thing better than you. You do 10 things probably better than me. My one thing just got recognition. So that's why you want to put me on a pedestal, right? But dude, trust me. You can probably do 10 things better than I can. I just did one thing. And so everybody's trying to be something, and we're never going to achieve what you think you want to be, because once you're that, then now what? And I realized this year, because I was always chasing that expectation I had in my mind, or that image I thought everybody else had in their mind of, look, Rhino, he's so fit, his shirt off, he has fucking veins, and this, and I came to a point, I'm like, who am I trying to be? Why? I'm never going to be that person, because I'm still chasing it, and I'm still not satisfied. I'm still not fulfilled with who I think I want to be. And so this year was the first year that I have never wanted to compete against anybody, never wanted to be better than anybody, never felt like I needed to achieve anything, so to speak. You know, and my whole life was, I'm going to be better than you, I'm going to challenge you, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to, you know, look better than you. And so that was a huge weight that came off my shoulders this year, is that I kind of accepted that I don't need to be anybody anymore. I'm good. You know, I'm really good. And you know, and another big thing I see with people with fitness is that if you took the vanity part away from the fitness side of it, I guarantee 90% of the people wouldn't do any kind of fitness or training. So that's an addiction too, is vanity. You know what I mean? Because people can look at you, oh, look, he's so fit, or wow, look at those muscles. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's a big ego thing too. People say they want to be healthy, but a lot of it has some ego pride behind it, because there's a lot of fit, sick people out there. They look fit on the outside, but inside they're sick, either by what they're taking or what they're not taking, or even more emotionally, right? And so these are the things that you know, I've realized in the last you know, few years and stuff, that where these traps are. There's a lot of, like we talked, there's a lot of traps
with social media. Everything's fake, man. Yeah, like everything you're saying, my head's blown, because it's 100% correct, man.
Social media is just about comparison. And that's the worst thing that these kids can do, is compare. Because once you compare, because you're never following anybody that only has two followers. No, you're following people that have 2 million, you know, or this and that. You're always following people that have more followers than you. So you're always feeling unfulfilled, because these people look like they have everything and life's going great, and this and this and this and this. Man. But half those people are probably the ones that are battling with, you know, not wanting to kill themselves more than anybody, because they've got to this level and now they realize that they're still not happy, fulfilled, or what they thought it was, right? They filled one hole but created 3 more. And so I got a lot of these kids that come to me, and that I got to teach how to be more confident, how to have more self-worth, some more some more you know, I guess kind of love themselves more, because again, social media can make yourself not love yourself, because you're always comparing. And once you compare, man, then you always feel less than. Yeah. And then when you feel less than, then you're always searching for something to make you feel more than. And here comes the drugs, here comes the this, here comes the more, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's beautiful, everybody's amazing. Last year, again, I went around the world, and I met the most beautiful people around the world, and from many different civilizations, many different races. We're all the same, dude. We all have the same emotional problems, all the same emotions, all the same thinking. There's not some land I go to that we have 6 emotions and they have 15. You know what I mean? We're all the same.
Why do people hide it? Why
we just have different sticker kits and different sound, different pipes, right? We look different and we speak different, but other than that, everybody had the same concerns, the same fears, the same unfulfillment, the same, all these things. And so it's like the problem right now is everybody wants to separate themselves instead of connect with people. That's what it is connection, not separation, right? But again, where does separation come from? Separation comes from labels. Politics. I'm an American, you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican.
It's crazy.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how it is.
And so now we have so many things. We love to go to the gym. We love motocross. We love this. We love this. But now that you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican,
we can't be friends.
I'm not going to be hanging out with you, dude.
Yeah.
Over what? A label, which is a word. And what's a word? A sound. So really, this whole world is having problems over sounds. I'm a Christian. You're a Muslim. That's a word and it's a sound. Other than that, there's no difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't talk about what your religion says and what your religion says. It's just a Christian and a Muslim.
Makes perfect sense.
Right? It's stupidity. It's ignorance. It's fucking ignorance. So once you create separation, you create indifference. Once you create indifference, you create judgment. Judgment, hatred. Now, I'll fight you over this, or we'll go to war with you. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like you found the key to life or something, because everything you said is just perfect sense. I just wish, and more people, I wish you're more open like you, because I've learned so much from your Instagram and people out there that, with me, I'll post a happy picture, but I'm having a fight with my chick. You're not going to see that. And all these other people, they portray something, but it's not what it really is. And then people see that, they want to be like that. They have no idea.
Well, I feel that, like we talked earlier, that being fake creates anxiety. It creates pain. It creates depression.
And you're addicted to Xanax.
Yeah, so maybe you always putting off this vibe or this thing that you're so great and you're so happy and you're so this is really you being fake. And so, people always, people, even my ex-wife, why do you share so much? I go, share so much is because I might help that one person that understands that, look, this guy might be in Ohio somewhere where he has no outreach to anybody. He's struggling with shit and he's thinking he's the only one. Yeah. But then when someone like myself comes and talks about, hey, I just got divorced. Hey, man, I'm lost. Hey, I'm depressed. Talk about my stuff. He might not feel so alone. And I have hundreds of direct messages of people contacting me saying that, man, I'm so glad I read that today. I'm so glad that I read that you struggle with the same thing. That's really brought me out of my hole, brought me to life again. And just that alone is like, why wouldn't you share?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you share? What are you afraid of? And I don't give two shits how people look at me.
I think there's a lot of that. People are scared. People are scared to say you're addicted to alcohol because you're kind of classified as that dirtbag, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And again, I'm not sitting here saying I'm the purest person. Have I drank alcohol? Yes. Have I done cocaine? Yes. Have I smoked weed? Yes. Have I done, ayahuasca and DMT? And I've tried it all.
Yeah.
I've tried it all, but nothing. Nothing's going to take you to where you think you want to take you to. Have I been addicted to sex? Yes. I'm a fucking man.
Yeah.
So, but I recognized it, and I'll talk about it, and I'll say it. Do I have any of these problems? No, I don't.
You feel better now on absolutely nothing, living on life,
and
whatever.
And I'm not chasing the woman. I'm not. It's like. Yeah, I don't even have a word for it. But just,
it's crazy.
I guess for me, it's like nobody can tell me not to do it until I do it.
Yeah.
Then I tell myself not to do it. You know what I mean? I have to experience it. I can't take someone else's word for it. But me experiencing it then has is like we talked earlier. It creates wisdom.
Yeah.
Just knowledge is borrowed. Mm-hmm. Knowledge is regurgitated. Experience is the deepest level of knowledge. Wisdom, right? And so again, I can see, you know what? I think you need to shoot the basketball like this, but until you do it, then you can go, all right, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? You got to experience it to have a deeper level of understanding it. And because, watching baseball looks easy.
It
Okay,
does.
but get in the batter's box and have a 100-mile-an-hour fastball come by you, and you're not even pop. Okay, go pitch. No, I already did.
Different ballgame.
Until you experience it, it's a whole different world, right?
How do you explain something about motocross?
You can't. It's
You
impossible.
can't, I know.
Yeah. It's
You just get
impossible.
on, you just turn the throttle, right? But
Yeah.
how do you explain it? I actually want to hear it. It's amazing, like, because I don't know how to explain it when somebody asks me. I don't have the knowledge of you,
Yeah.
but
Well, the only thing I can explain it to is that it's the most dynamic sport on earth.
Yes.
And because, again, all four extremities are moving at the same time. You have a clutch, brake, gas, brake, shifter. You have two parts of the motorcycle. You're in head-to-toe gear. It can be 100 degrees outside or more. Your bike's producing probably 400 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
The track is alive, meaning it's changing at all times. We have many different conditions to it by having, mud, rocks, sand, hard pack, all different types of bumps. And the track is always, like I say, always changing. You have blurred vision from getting roosted, right? You have 20 to 40 other riders out there beside you at all times, and the ultimate consequence is death. Right?
that was the answer I was looking for. Like,
It's
how you
death.
explain that?
No, it's death. You know what I mean? Because
Crazy.
people die, people get paralyzed all the time, and people get hurt all the time. Like my broken femur, it's no big deal. In normal, I have other people that don't have
lot
any
of people.
and I don't do anything with life, and they're just tripping their balls out, thinking that it's like, oh my God, what are you going to do, and this and that. And people in motocross are like, hey, when do you get back on the bike?
Exactly. It's
Like,
twisted.
Because
yeah.
again, just like I read this thing in like Syria or I don't know, Afghanistan, somewhere. This was a while ago. That there's a picture of mothers playing with their children in a playground, or it was a video, and there's bombs going off around them. They didn't flinch, dude, because they become monotonous to it. It became the norm.
Just, yeah.
So in our sport, this is why some way I kind of almost want to get out of it, because it's very barbaric. It's very uncompassionate. It's very harsh because,
It is.
again, you become so numb to what happens in it. You become so, you become so numb to it, right? Just like Blake Savage. Yeah, he got paralyzed or whatever, but it's like
How fast
you're
can you
you're so used to hearing that news. You know what I mean? And so can kind of condition that way, and that's unfortunately is our sport. But it's the sport is it's so there's nothing like it. There's no motorsport that can compare to it. Because surfaces are always flat.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same. They might change grip wise, but that's it. You go to car racing. Well, now you have a roll cage, bud.
Yeah, different
You know what I
ballgame.
And again, any little mistake, like on a road race bike, a little mistake is usually a slide or this. But any little mistake on a motocross bike that has big consequences. Big consequences, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where our sport, sets the tone. And what's it asking you to be? It's asking you to be strong, stable, coordinated, efficient, have balance, have focus, have intensity, have cardiovascular, have, nerves of steel, have no fear. You know what I mean? It's asking you to be this type of person too. Just that's why motocrossers are the fittest athletes on earth.
So many people don't realize that. I'm
Been
glad
proven
you
that.
just said all that.
Been proven.
Yeah,
proven.
it's crazy.
I'll take any motocrosser and let's go. And I'll take the top motocross. I'll take Eli Tomac. Let's go test.
Yeah.
I'll test you against your best athlete. You know what I mean?
He'll win every
But let's
time.
put them on the side of a cliff or somewhere where there can be some death to it, and then we'll see how good they can react or work compared to a motocrosser.
Yeah.
Because a motocrosser is so used to accepting that. That challenge or that risk or that fear, and that's what I see when I train kids. It's like I used to train mountain bikers from high school, and then my kids. So my kids from motocross would come, and they were like 2 to 3 years younger than the high school kids, but they would act probably 2 years older than the high school kids, because I feel you have to grow up very quickly because of the responsibility that you're taking on. You're taking on this responsibility of knowing that you can be injured very badly, or knowing that you can be paralyzed or die because you've seen your friends, right? And knowing, this responsibility, you grew up that your mom and dad are working their ass off and they're giving up their retirement to make this happen for you. So motocross makes you grow up very quickly, but it also takes you away from being maybe educated, educated through the school system, because it takes you out of that. So what would I rather have? A kid that is a very good rememberer, because that's what school is just remembering a lot of shit, or a kid that has experienced life by traveling the world and getting in tune with himself, with in that emotional field of how to overcome some fears, how to overcome some tragedies of laying on maybe the couch, of seeing your leg over here when it should be over there, type of thing. Of waking up in the ambulance after you've been knocked out. These things have an effect on you. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, yeah.
But then also what happens is that people leave your life and then they don't have the tools to be able to grab to help those times when that addiction maybe comes in, or those whatevers, or fuck it, or everybody else is, or it won't hurt me once type of thing. You know what I mean?
I see a dark side to motocross. It still hasn't snapped out of all my friends being injured and the addiction and the death. Like, that's something I can't get over. I still see a really dark side to it.
Yeah, and that's what I want to try to bring into our sport, which nobody ever has, is more of a lifestyle. More of what Troy Casey from the Man Tribe and
what
stuff
is the Man Tribe? Because you said it twice, and I want other people to know what it is. What is the Man Tribe?
So the Man Tribe is just it's the Man Tribe is getting men back to being men. We're being suffocated. We can't talk. We can't act. We can't get angry. We can't do these things. Yeah, do you go grab women by the pussy? No, but we can get mad. We can stand our ground. We can have our voice. We can be a man, but not in the ways that we're getting pushed down for. Not every man manipulates a woman. Not every man talks down to a woman. Not every man takes advantage of a woman. You know what I mean? But that's what we're getting squished down from, so to speak, and that we're not allowed to voice our opinion and be a man and have our little fights. Why can't two men go out there and fight and just get away with it, right? That's what we're supposed to do, right? And so it's not just that, but just kind of have this brotherhood, because men, when I was sitting in the group the other day, men don't have anybody to talk to, Is
it a group? Do you guys just meet up?
Yeah, we meet up, or we have different things like ice baths and different things. We do a lot of breath work, stuff. And then Troy's he's amazing with nutrition, amazing with finding problems, like getting hair analysis of finding out that you might have lead poisoning or metal poisoning or mold poisoning that's causing you to be depressed, that you're eating foods and substances that's causing you to be depressed. So there's a lot of things. People just go have depression. Okay, but hold on. What are you eating? What are you watching? What are you reading? Who are you hanging out with? You get what I'm saying?
Could anybody join this?
What's in your environment? What's getting sprayed around your house? What chemicals are you using in your house? How old's your house? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that can be causing triggers that you're just covering up with a Band-Aid of a drug, and all Band-Aids fall off.
They all fall off.
They all fall off. So that's what I say when I coach people. I go, look, I'm not here to put a Band-Aid on you, because all Band-Aids fall off. I'm here to stitch you up so you don't ever have that wound again. You don't ever have that ill technique ever again in your life, right? And so the Man Tribe and Certified Health Nut on Instagram, so at Certified Health Nut is Troy Casey. At Man Tribe is the thing that him and Alexander Hill are doing, and they brought me on just to kind of tell my story, to tell my story. Can
anybody join this?
Oh yeah, anybody can come to the events. We were just in Santa Monica yesterday, just in the grass, doing qigong and breath work, and then everybody got to share their story. Everybody got to share what their fears are about. And again, most men don't have anybody to talk to. Most men don't have somebody to lean on, because again, most men don't have even an emotional capacity to understand it, or do they even care, or they're going to give you some excuses. Stop being a pussy, dude.
Yeah, you're the man.
Come on. And that's why I never talked to one man about my divorce. Never one. Because I feel it goes one ear and out the other, or man, you're so lucky. There's so many chicks out there. But I only talk to women, because women understand. Women, they understood. So I always talk to women about it, and they were my healers this year.
It's crazy.
The women were. They were my healers. I met many women this year, and they were all my healers. And it was like they were set in my life for a reason.
That's crazy.
And so that's the biggest thing, is just having a group, and that's kind of what it's about. But also just giving people inspiration to better themselves, bring back the instincts. We've lost our instinct of eating good, of movement, of strong mind, of quiet time, of coming back into the man a little bit, instead of always having to prove yourself, always having to challenge the world, always having to, having to be, like school teaches is just, it teaches you how to be ambitious. That's all school teaches, is how to be ambitious, right? The 3 things in life that cause you the most problems, one is your own personal health, mental, physical, and emotional. Where in school or where are you ever taught that until you have a freaking problem?
100%.
Never. Second is a relationship. Where in the world are you taught that until you're at divorce and go, oh, wow, I didn't know you meant that. And oh, I didn't know you felt that way. But it's so polluted now that you can never go back, right? And the third thing is kids. Where are you taught on how to raise the kids and understand the kids and stuff like that until your kids, again, in drug rehab or whatever, and going, oh, where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
Where did I go wrong? Nothing, and those 3 things aren't taught in life, but those cause the most problems in our life, I believe. We're only taught in school of how to be ambitious, how to be more money, more powerful, how to put letters behind our names, right?
That's not all life throws at you,
do
man.
Shit.
Nothing.
Yeah, but none of that means anything, man. Because the 5 wishes that people have on the deathbed, there's not one thing of power, there's not one thing of money, there's not one thing of control, and there's not one thing of more things. It's I wish I would have loved people more. There's a list. I wish I'd have stayed closer to friends. I wish I would have done what I loved in life. I wish I would have stayed closer to my family, whatever it is. None of it has to do with anything you're being taught in school. And there's going to be a big switch, I think, and you're starting to see it. Because the little younger kids, I don't think they're so into trying to be the CEO. They're so into trying to be super rich. You know what I mean? They just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Because that's what life's supposed to be about.
People forget that.
It's about having a good time. We're down here to fucking play, man. We're down here to play. We're supposed to be human beings. Not human doers, right? We always have to do, next. What?
I say this to my friends, exactly what you're saying, man.
Yeah.
People forget that. Normal 9 to 5, they work till they're 60, and then they missed it all.
Yeah, they
life's
missed
about
60,
just
and then
life,
you're
man.
already so tired that you don't even have
You're
the youth
over
to go
it.
climb hills and do this and do that. So, I'd much rather live in a cardboard box than to and be able to live the free life that I live. And just like I was explaining, I'm more free than anybody I know in my life. I can come, do, go at any time, at any place I ever want. I made myself my own boss. I don't have any employees. I've made my own work schedule and my time schedule. So I'm free.
You are free.
I am
I think
free.
a lot of people
and that's what humanity is chasing, is freedom. But they think they're going to get freedom through being popular, having money, being successful, or having things.
Yeah.
That's going to give you freedom. Some things give you freedom, but it also brings more traps, right? And true freedom is to me, which I thought this year was freedom from responsibility. And okay, I didn't have responsibility. Kids were gone, wife was gone. Okay, I don't have responsibility. I kind of do what I want to do. But I didn't have freedom because I didn't have freedom of mind. My mind was still regretting what happened, putting the blame on her, poor me, So I was still in jail in my head.
Yeah.
I was still in jail. I had handcuffs in my head because my mind wasn't free. It was still, going back and forth of who's to blame and why me and poor me and why is life doing this to me, until I realized that, and I kind of got that to fade away, is when I realized where true freedom is. True freedom's in the mind, you know what I mean? And the attachments to life, and the attachments to what you think you need to have to be happy, because, we're always trying to fix and change and control what's happening right now. But it's happening right now. So what's there really to control, change, or fix? You understand?
Yeah.
And what's happening right now, so there's times that maybe you go with your wife or go somewhere and she asks you to go, and you're like, man, I wish I'd have been somewhere else, and this and this and this, and you're trying to change what's happening right now. Well, maybe what's supposed to come out of what's happening right now is exactly what you wanted. Life had that plan for you. But since you changed it and tried to manipulate it, you went down a different road, and now you're not getting what you wanted, what you were looking for. Does that make sense?
I've done it so many times. Yeah.
And just instead of just going, hey, just accept that you're here. Accept that maybe this isn't the best place, but just be engaged in it. And then maybe what comes from that is going to be a connection that you and your wife maybe haven't had in years, because she saw that you were there for her, instead of seeing you not wanting to be there at all times and then making her irritated. You know what I'm saying? But that can work in many different ways. And so I've learned to just try to be in the places that I'm at, even though they might not be what I've truly, thought of. But just, okay, I'm here.
You're here.
Just be here,
Living it. I can't believe that we've been going on for over an hour. I feel, because we keep this at 30 minutes, I forgot that we're even doing an interview. I feel I've learned a lot. And I just keep doing what you're doing. There needs to be more people like you expressing like what life is really about, man. Like people, social media blinds that, and you help a lot of people, man. I have so much respect. One more topic. What do you tell somebody? I think so many people have learned so much from this. I have. What do you tell somebody that's just getting out of rehab? They lost everything. They're so lost, because I get these messages every single day. I don't have the answer. I don't think you might have the right answer. I don't think nobody has the answer, because everybody's addicted to drugs. What do you tell somebody that's just trying to get their life back, and just to motivate them to get back on top when they're lost? Because when you're out of rehab, man, you're lost. You have nothing. You're a new person. What would you tell that person?
I would, it's very hard for me to talk about that, because I don't have the experience to talk about it, because I've never been in that.
Answers.
I've never been in that situation. I know you have a lot of good ways of getting people to, to find something to fill that hole, to fill that void of through running and exercise, and this, which it is. It's the best drug you can ever find. Exercise truly is. I guess the biggest thing is try to find somebody that you trust. Find someone that you can trust, and somebody that you can rely on, that can take a call at any time. And don't be afraid to find out, to admit when you're weak. Don't be afraid
you're saying all this that you don't know, but you're saying that's exactly right. That's why you go to meetings and you get a sponsor and you talk to, so you're everything.
You have
you're
somebody
saying,
that you can just call up and not be, you don't have to, oh man, I can't say this because I don't want them to think that this way. No. That's what it is. And also find something you love. What the fuck do you love in this world? Go chase it.
Yeah.
You're already down so low. Where else can you go? You've hit rock bottom. There's only one place to go, and that's up. So find something you love and go chase that. I don't care if it's knitting.
No matter what.
I don't care if it's freaking ballet. Just go chase something you love, and that will start to create happiness. Because the reason that you're chasing this is because you're not happy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're trying to fill this void. You're trying to cover up your unhappiness. So find something that you truly love and go chase that. And at least that will bring some joy to you. Because once you have joy, then you can start looking at yourself with different eyes. You know what I mean? Being born again doesn't mean going to church and some guy on stage going, now you're born again because you've been here one time.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. Being born again is looking at life, the same things with different eyes.
Is it a big thing to drop your ego? I think for me, that's the biggest thing, right? To get your
I guess everybody's different. I can't tell you why people get
But that's a big part of it, and that's why you got to find your new love. Put your ego down.
I guess the
Don't
ego
try and
down
be
of still not trying to be somebody. You know what I mean? Of just accepting that.
Accepting. That's what I mean. Accepting whatever.
Accepting that you're weak.
Yeah.
You're weak.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. You're weak, and that's what happened. You let something become the master of you.
Yeah.
So stop being a slave to it and start to become the master of yourself. And that's the same people. As people follow other people and they become a slave to other people or other ideas or ways. And that's not the key, is letting other things master you. You got to learn to master yourself.
Yeah.
Once you become the master, well, then you become, you don't get affected or pulled off your throne as much.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, it's very hard for me to talk and say that I know anything about it, but
you just said everything. Really,
I guess you just find something you love, because that's all really life's about, is finding something you love. And again, once you find something you love, like I say, they'll start opening doors other places, because you find something you love. You never know who you're going to meet in that situation or that area or that arena or that idea that might be the love of your life, or might become your best friend, or might open a door for you, or might even just give you the inspiration not to do it, or they have a tougher life than you have, right?
100%.
And so don't go chasing things for what other people think you should do, or chasing things to feed your ego, because now I'm out of rehab and now I'm this sober guy and I'm going to prove to everybody. You don't have shit to prove, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Just make yourself happy, And again, I don't want to say that I know anything. Especially with that, because it's so difficult.
Everything you said was
difficult.
100% right, man. Everything. Yeah. I'm just accepting. I mean, just doing all these weird things. Just how my life, I just went along, did that, put my ego, and dude, that turned into this. This turned, just living life, man. Everything you're saying, I can't agree more. I'm still learning from you. I mean, I don't even know how to close this interview out. I learned so much. I feel that everybody else learned a lot. You're nothing but a legend, man, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you, man.
It's very humbling to me, because I don't.
You're speaking the truth,
I
man.
don't look at myself as anything special. I just look at I'm just full of experience and have a gift to share.
I looked up to you my whole life for motocross, and right now, and even like probably a year ago, I kind of forgot about you as that motocross guy. I'm looking up to you as who you are living this life and like just giving back, because it's my passion. It's rad to see you're just out there living life and just there is no end. That's what I tell people too, man. I'm just training for life, man. Who cares? It just feels good, man.
Yeah.
I want to get to your level. I am everything you said, the 5 deals. I'm going to take away the least one. I'm going to practice that tonight. I think it's Red Bull for me.
Yeah.
And then I think that's replacing a drug, man, because I like kind of being on it, so I admit it.
Yeah,
I admit it. But I'm going to try.
And that's where you have to maybe, you're so used to feeling that you're alive, being so revved up.
So much candy.
Being so revved up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except learning and feeling that you're actually more alive, being at peace, at calmness. And this is where like yoga, Qigong would come in for you, because what you need is to kind of reel yourself in.
And out of rehab, I wasn't drinking Red Bulls, and I felt good. I just kind of like fell in there, but I do eat a lot of candy.
Well, what do you think happens to people when people get off drugs? What they usually do, they start smoking. They're just replacing it.
Oh,
right?
we can go on for an hour about
They
this.
get off cigarettes. What do? They start eating a candy.
Exactly.
The only thing you're doing is just replacing it. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
You haven't healed yourself. You just replaced it with another addiction.
Yeah.
And so that's what you got to be very careful with, and that's why you got to find something you love. And if that's walking, talking, moving, bicycle, whatever it is cooking.
Doesn't matter.
So for me, it's like with you, being so revved up is making you feel alive, but maybe it truly isn't. You're just used to it. You just conditioned yourself to it. Maybe like you say, working in and doing some more yoga, stuff like that, and finding out what this feminine energy, feels like. It's just, you're relaxed, you're soft, you're accepting, you're allowing
everything.
You're allowing, yeah. But don't put me on a pedestal too much. I have my days. 2 days ago, man, I was in tears a little bit.
And I'm sure you do, but it's how you express that.
Tears. I was in tears. I woke up and I was kind of in tears. I was crying a little bit just because I kind of panicked a little bit. Of like, oh my God, I need to make some money. I need this, and I can't.
That's real,
I'm
man.
I'm living somewhere where I don't know if I need to live. I got, and then it was continuing yesterday. Then I got hooked up with Troy Casey and stuff. We started doing, our breath work, doing our breath work and all this stuff, and then gone.
Yeah.
Just gone. It was gone. So again, people with addictions, get into ice baths, get into breath work, get into yoga, do these things that change your philosophy, your mentality, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That change you. And that's where I would say for people to start going down the Wim Hof, to this, stuff like that. There's tools out there.
Yeah.
There's ways out there. And it's not just by filling one hole with something else. Right? Oh, I'm not an addict anymore. But you're smoking 3 packs of cigarettes, bud.
Yeah.
I'm not an addict anymore, but you're drinking a case of Red Bull and eating 14 Dunkin' Donuts. Right? So, we got to be kind of careful about that.
Just baby steps.
Oh, yeah.
Baby
One step at a
steps.
time, dude. One step at a time.
I feel like I already
Scratch
shook your
away
hand.
at life. Scratch away at life with a rock. Like you're scratch away, like chip away at life, like you're chipping away at a rock with your fingernail. You get what I'm saying? You do this.
We're never gonna
you do this.
end this interview.
After a month, there's nothing. You're like, fuck. But then after a year, you're like, oh wow, look at the progress I've made. And progression in life isn't instantaneously, and that's what everybody wants.
That's why people give up too, really quick.
We progress like nature evolves. You can't see the sun move until there's a focal point. You can't see that tree grow until you come back a year later. And there's never going to be a time like, oh, I'm this now. There's times in your life that you all of a sudden go, oh my God, I used to react like that, and now I don't. Or, man, I used to be so craving that, but now I don't. Oh, wow, now I'm evolving. Now I'm progressing.
It's about getting sober too.
Yeah.
People think you just get your life back right when you get sober.
No,
All that, dude, it took
not
me
even
3
close.
years,
Not even
and
close.
it's progression. A lot of people give up. Well, fuck, I know how to go take pills. I feel good right away. You got to keep going. And that's where one day at a time goes. And then after 3 years, you got all this shit.
I started
You're
doing.
back.
I got a bunch of colonics like about a couple weeks ago. Like that, a bunch of colonics, and I went to the colonic lady, and she's like, "You need to do a colonic for every year you've been alive." So 45 colonics because
Heavy.
you've had so much residue built up in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, just like somebody that has got overweight, how long did it take you to get overweight? You didn't just wake up one night and you're like, boop. It took you a while. So just think of how long it's going to take you to get back into shape.
Double
so
that.
Be patient with yourself.
Yeah.
Have compassion with yourself. Understand where you've been. Understand that you were weak. And then start chipping away at that and growing from that. But be patient, you know? Nothing happens overnight, just like nature. Nothing grows overnight. It takes time. It takes time. You know, you didn't become an addict overnight. It took time to become an addict.
It did take time.
Yeah.
And it starts small, gets bigger and bigger, man.
Yeah.
We got to close this out because we
sorry.
have other people. Thank you, Ryan. All your information will be on the story, so
Yeah.
you guys will check it. Thank you, guys. Ryan Hughes, we're out.